moving around the head, and then we looked at, told you guys we were going to move into moving around the lower body control, and then ultimately we'll move into knee on belly, transitioning to the backside knee on belly, okay? So the whole premise of this was we understand what they're going to do as a means for their first escape, and it's that they're going to turn to their side, and they're going to start to bridge up and hip out. As soon as that happens, we have to get a base of some sort, okay? We cannot continue to try to keep pushing him back down as he further drives his knee inside. If you guys were watching last week, we went over this recoil and setting the knee, and then continuing to hit the reset and drive the knee inside, and that's just going to really eliminate, what he would do here is going to really eliminate my ability to be able to just continue to push him back down as he just continues to drive that knee inside further and further and further, and kind of can opener into my body. Okay, so I'm going to cover two techniques here today. We're going to go over a really sneaky backside mount that I love to pull on people. And the collective sigh when I pull this is classic. As soon as I hit the mount, people are like, oh, right? Because they never saw it coming, and it's kind of cheeky, but it works really well. And it plays off of this advanced hip escape right here, okay? So my favorite form of control here, obviously this is not something that I use much at my level anymore, is this holding right here. Most of the time, my hand is gonna block the hip in some form or fashion, simply because as he starts to hip out, my elbow is gonna drop and kind of block that, and I get a handful of the gi on the backside here. And that kind of keeps me locked to him no matter what he does. My first goal is I do not want him to bring this knee in between he and I. That becomes a big problem. So kind of floating this hand right here on this hip, as soon as he drops his hip down, where's my elbow go? It drops to the mat, and it puts a bar right in here at his hip, where he can't really come inside of this, okay? Now, I've got a couple options if I miss this. So say I'm holding here, and a lot of you guys really prefer to use this control, and that's fine. If I'm using this right here and he kind of gets the jump on me, and as he starts to turn, I get to here, well, he's already got that knee inside, and that's kind of exactly what I want, all right? So from here in this position, I'm kind of sprawled out a little bit. My chest is still on him. What I'm gonna do here is this right foot is gonna tuck inside. I'm gonna now scoot up above and over his knee, okay? Fade into forward-facing side control. I'm gonna back up a couple times here, all right? And I'm gonna kind of push off to this side to let him kind of get to his side to drop that knee to the mat. I'm gonna give him a little bit of space, because as soon as I feel that knee come to the mat, this top side leg is gonna get in the game here. I'm gonna come in and scoot up top, and I'm gonna come over the top of this knee, and I'm gonna hook it, okay? So what I do, as soon as he turns to his side, I switch, and I kind of start to ride high. Now I'm gonna come over the top, and I'm gonna find this knee right here, and I hook it with my foot, okay? So as soon as I hook it with my foot, now I'm gonna set back and put all my weight on my foot to where now he can't pull his leg back through. It's gonna be really hard for him to get his leg back out. So I'm kind of halfway Kesa, but I stepped on top of his foot right here. I'm up underneath the armpit on this side, and beside the head on this one. So now what I'm gonna do, come up underneath this armpit, okay? I like to grab the collar. Forehead's gonna go to the mat here, and I'm gonna bring my knee across, and we're gonna settle into the mat, okay? So again, once he hits that scoop, I switch. I'm gonna try to sit on his leg a little bit, because I wanna be able to feel that knee kind of right up underneath my butt, so I know where it's at. Need some orientation on that, where I know it's there. Now I'm gonna kind of scoot back. I'm gonna get in over the top of this here, and I'm gonna hook, okay? So as soon as I hook this knee, I'm gonna kind of draw him up really tight, and I'm gonna kind of sit on his thigh, to where even if he wants to try to get it back, it's really hard for him to get it back. If I'm down here, he can straighten his leg out, and he can remove that. So once I get hooked through, get into this position here, I kind of scoot back on the inside of his thigh and get all my weight in there to where now he can't just simply pull his leg back out. From here, loop inside to the back of the collar. This one's gonna come up underneath. Double underhook collar grip. Forehead's gonna go down. Knee's gonna go across. Go ahead and lock them up. So here. He turns. Boom. And I'm gonna kind of scoot back deep. A lot of times what they do when they feel that you're kind of back here is they'll start pushing on your hips anyway, trying to kind of push you down a little bit, and that's fine, because what does it make accessible? This knee, right? So the further he pushes me kind of down on his guard, notice I've got the back of his gi right here, so he can't push me too far, right? I've also got the top side gi so I can kind of stay heavy here, and I want to just kind of keep this leg, as long as this leg doesn't punch underneath to here, we're good. So I keep my knee down, blocking it. A good rule of thumb here is to watch this hand, because if he starts trying to use his elbow to feed the elbow to the knee, he can get it through there, okay? So here, and I'll kind of pull on this a little bit to where he doesn't have a lot to use here. Back up, I'm gonna hook this foot. Now I'm gonna kind of open him up a little bit. From here, feeding up underneath, double collars, cross up, and where do we wind up? High elbow mount, right, which is exactly where I want to be. Finally, here, he bridges and turns, kind of scooting back, get that collar grip on the backside, or that lapel grip, or the gi grip. Come up underneath, ball him up, coming up underneath both sides, get a good solid grip. May not be able to get the exact grip you want, that's fine. Roll forward. Cross into the mount. Let's get it. 1, 2, 3. There's a couple threats here, and if you remember, I told you hands on the mat. Okay, when we hit that surfer hop, we're talking about as soon as he's under the chin and he starts to turn, boom. I make this I get my chest against him, so I'm not completely on him, but I've got both feet down so I can drive in, I can pop up, I can move. You know, if I'm down here and if I'm holding super, super tight, like I gotta put my hands down so I can actually start to push off the mat to get up and move, okay? So the second that I start to get resistance, I like to pop my hands out and deploy all my posts, okay? No matter what he's doing with his knee, it doesn't really matter to me at that point what he does with his knees. I want to get my posts out so that now I can start to kind of float, okay? So once he comes in, he makes that turn, I deploy posts and I switch. I get to here, kind of back up into his hips. I come up here and I grab. Then I catch. Once I catch this leg, if I let my head get this way, that's what happens. Okay, and if I do anything out of sequence, that's what happens. So I can't do it out of sequence. My first sequence is gonna always be the post. So as soon as he turns, boom, notice this post is out here. I'm operating with this post out here, so that if he does decide, once I come in right here, he decides he wants to take me over, there is none of that. Why? Okay, this is out here, all right? Now, when I get ready to capture this underhook, something important is going to happen. Right about the time that I abandon this area here, I'm in danger. He can still flip me over. Okay? So as I move up, watch what moves up with it. So that now there is no turn like that. Elbow stops, knee drags across. Okay? So you can't do it out of sequence. If you bail on that hand, you got a weak spot over here, he can roll you into that weak plane. Make sure you're not doing it out of sequence, okay? Let's go 1 or 2 more times, please. We're on to the next technique. Here we go, 1, 2, 3.